We'd like to call to order the Finance Committee meeting for August the 14th, the year 2023. Before we get into tonight's business, if you're standing at this time, we have our invocation followed by the flag salute. Invocation will be led by Alex Reynolds.
Please stand and bow your heads. Heavenly Father, please forgive us of our sins. Please watch over and guide us as we gather today to do the business of the city. Please bless our citizens in and around Muskogee, the city and the county as well. Help us come together, clear our hearts and our minds, and help us do good for the business of the city. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we were supposed to start out with a recognition of Lieutenant Abel. He's not present, so Mayor, I guess that means he has to stay on the job.
He has to stay.
All right, he has to stay.
We withdraw his retirement. Yep.
All right, agenda item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Finance Committee minutes of July 10th, 2023, or take other necessary action.
After reviewing the minutes, are there any corrections or additions to our minutes?
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve our minutes. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Patrick Cale,
Here. Yes.
Perlin Boyati Craig,
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery,
Yes.
Tracy Hoos,
Yes.
Tracy McGee,
Yes.
Alex Reynolds, Deputy Mayor Derek Reed,
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 1 passes. Item number 2, please.
Consider approval of claims for all city departments July 1, 2023 through August 4th, 2023, or take other necessary action.
Do we have a report from the purchasing committee?
The purchasing committee met today, and we approved our claims. I recommend approval.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve our claims list. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Patrick Cale,
Yes.
Perlin Boyati Craig,
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery,
Yes.
Tracy Hoos,
Yes.
Tracy McGee,
Yes.
Alex Reynolds, Deputy Mayor Derek Reed,
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 2 passes. Item number 3, please.
Consider approval of resolution number 2953, declaring items of personal property presently in the possession of the City of Muskogee to be surplus to the needs of the City of Muskogee, and authorize the city manager or his designee to offer for sale or dispose of the same, all as per attached list, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Miller?
Yes, Mr. Reed had to be away this evening. I do recommend that you look through the resolution as attached. These items are surplus, and we do recommend allowing them to be sold as surplus property of the city. I'll be happy to answer any questions, and we do recommend approval.
Any questions for Mr. Miller?
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this item. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Patrick Cale,
Yes.
Perlin Boyati Craig,
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery,
Yes.
Tracy Hoos,
Yes.
Tracy McGee,
Yes.
Alex Reynolds,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed,
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 3 passes. Item number 4, please.
Consider approval to authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute an engagement letter with Hood and Associates, certified public accountants, to perform review of financial statements and prepare audit report for fiscal year 2023, or take other necessary action.
Yes, if I may.
Yes.
This is just an engagement letter for our auditor for the fiscal year 2023 audit. That's the fiscal year that just ended June 30th. We would be happy to answer any questions, and we do recommend approval of their engagement.
I move for approval. Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Patrick Cale,
Yes.
Perlin Boyati Craig,
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery,
Yes.
Tracy Hoos,
Yes.
Tracy McGee,
Yes.
Alex Reynolds,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed,
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 4 passes. Item number 5, please.
Discuss and give direction to staff related to possible future funding for a Crisis Intervention Center, CIC, or similar facility for juvenile offenders, or take other necessary action.
This is my item. So this is a follow-up discussion from a few weeks ago when we had our juvenile judge in the room, and we discussed some of the problems in our community that could be easily resolved if we brought back the Crisis Intervention Center. The Crisis Intervention Center was a great tool that the juvenile judge had at her disposal, as well as the police department in past years because of state funding cuts as well as City of Muskogee Foundation cuts. This program was ceased. One of the problems we found when we had our 4th of July problem in our community at Rotary Park, there was no enforcement and no place to take juveniles to try to get some help, during these kind of crises. And so I just wanted to open the floor to maybe find other possible funding mechanisms that we could reopen this center to help our youth in our community that are creating problems that can help them become better citizens. And so that's the discussion that I wanted to have with this council. See how you guys felt about moving forward with trying to find funding mechanisms, and if so, to direct staff to try to research staff.
Deputy Mayor, may I be recognized?
Yes, sir.
I certainly support your thinking on this area because one of the concerns that have always come from different residents in the community has been an emphasis on something to do for the kids. And I think that something to do for them also involves being certain that we take the necessary proactive measures to keep them to keep them from getting in trouble and possibly being tried as adults. By having them to have something like CIC. When we had it before, it was a benefit to the school districts, it was a benefit to local law enforcement, it was a benefit to families. A lot of times we're dealing with young people who come from situations that they didn't ask for, that they didn't create. And so without that guidance, not to purposely be more spiritual, but the word of the Lord says that when my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will take me up. I've always interpreted that as the Lord being the people of God, who will always be in the gap for people like these young people that we're trying to address. So I just want to say I certainly support that and directing staff in any way we can to either research grants or possibly look at mid-year review funding to start down the path to doing what we can to fund this type of program again.
If there's no other discussion concerning this, I would, I guess, make a motion. Is that what I need to do, Katrina?
Yes, and actually I wanted to give you a little bit of info if you don't mind.
Okay.
On this. So the program before was run by at one point by the city attorney's office. It ended up getting transferred over to the county. We lost our room at the jail where we used to hold people. So one of the things that we'll need to research is where we can have this center again. And then also there were staffing problems. We couldn't maintain staff. And then the county couldn't maintain staff. We do have so that is an issue. And then I think Chief Teehee had a few things to say. One of the things that we're looking at too, we do have a juvenile detention center, but it was closed down due to a death in the facility. So we have a lot of exploration to do. If you can also provide direction regarding that.
All right. Chief?
Yes, Ms. Bodenhammer and I spoke this afternoon or this morning. This is something absolutely we can use. The schools and the police department would have the ability to use it. One of the things I encouraged was when we look at that, if we're going to do it, we need to look at doing it the way it needs to be done.
Okay.
By the time we finished, we were just doing 8 to 5. And that wouldn't help us on 4th of July night. If anything, if we had to limit our times, I would rather see it in the evenings and overnight. And again, we discussed a lot of the issues that we had in the past, but it absolutely would be something that we would have an interest in working to try to get back together. I will contact the Sheriff's Department and see if they have any interest in joining us with this. And there's just a lot of different things that Katrina and I talked about with regards to if it's just going to be the city, then it needs to be just us that has priority to it. A lot of different things I think that we need to look into as far as the research tool goes.
All right. So, Mr. Miller or Chief, do you guys have any suggestions on how do we begin this conversation?
So what I would suggest is that if we can put together a feasibility study, for lack of a better term, that talks about how and where, Katrina, and then and then what it would look like to fund it. I think that would be a good first step, and then we could pursue funding avenues after that. Does that make sense to staff and to this body as a
Yes.
path forward?
Yes.
What does the direction need to be tonight?
The direction would be that you provide direction to staff to do a feasibility study on opening a CIC center.
That would include estimates of funding needed, and then we could pursue funding to meet that need.
May I address, do we know what kind of condition that building, I mean, that building is fairly new.
It was new.
Isn't it? The last one we used, the detention center, I wonder what kind of condition it's in.
Use that building.
I've not been in it in a while. I would assume it's still in reasonably good condition. I don't know, Chief, if you've been in it lately, but
Haven't been in there, but I mean, it's probably better shape than the jail is. But we'll look, as part of that, we'll look at all avenues, locations, and bring something back to report.
Can we get a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
We,
Have a motion and a second to direct staff. Any further questions? Roll call, please.
Patrick Kell.
Yes.
Pearlie Boyati Craig.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 5 passes. Item number 6, please.
Consider approval of change order number 2 for the wastewater treatment plant digester rehabilitation project number 202-1007 with Cook Consulting LLC in the amount of $191,360.65, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes, committee, this is a change order to the wastewater treatment plant digester rehabilitation project. And I will remind you that we did borrow $45 million from Oklahoma Water Resource Board to do water improvements and sewer improvements. The clean water side of it, or the sanitary sewer side of it, we set aside $27.5 million to do all the sewer work. We did identify quite a few projects, and we left, the way this works, we left some of that money in that to draw down to do other sewer improvements as we got into the program. So this will be funded out of that $27 million. And this original project price for the wastewater treatment plant digester project was $2,800,000. And as we got into it, we discovered that we needed more things repaired at the sewer plant. So we actually planned for that with that loan money and had it set aside for anything we needed over and above, which is what this change order entails. And what's going to be added is the replacement of an 8-inch valve for a gas line that goes on top of those digester buildings out there. And if you've ever been out there, those are those great big round buildings with a dome top on them. This also replaces a portable potable water line, or a water line that went down in the basement of the digester room where the boilers are. And it wasn't too long ago we had that line rupture, and we had a flood out there, and we had to do some major repairs. So that line and all that apparatus needs to be replaced. It's also doing the trickling filter distributor, and that's to rebuild that mast. If you've seen that big arm that goes around and around out there, that's to get that rebuilt. It also did that basement motor repair, which I was talking about with the flood damage. And it's also correcting some floor drain repairs in that same building. And it also, this change order also does have a $28,000 reduction in it because we didn't use all the money we needed doing some gas piping out there. So the total of the change order is $191,360, and this is improvements to continue on at the sewer plant. The money is there. It's in OWRB, the clean water loan that we did have, and we do recommend approval, and I'll try to answer your questions if you have them.
Any questions for Mr. Stewart?
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this item. Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Patrick Kell.
Yes.
Pearlie Boyati Craig.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous. Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds. Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 6 passes. Item number 7, please.
Consider approval to accept the engineering services agreement from Holloway, Updike, and Bellin Incorporated Hub for design, bidding, and construction phase services for replacement of the water treatment plant high service pump number 3, project number 2023014, in the amount of $94,100, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes, the high service pump that is currently in the water treatment plant, and this is actually in the main building down in the basement. Several months back, you guys did approve, council did approve purchase of that pump. Now what we have is a contract on the agenda today for the $94,100 to actually set this pump down into the building. This is going to require some major crane work out there. We're going to have to bring these pumps in from the roof and come down through that into the building. It's going to require a lot of plumbing changes and design changes in the basement to make sure that the pump runs efficiently. And by the way, Holloway did assist us on the actual purchase of that. There was like a 50-week lead time on it. I don't know if you remember that. So now what we're doing, and at that time we also stated that we were going to come back and have some engineering work done to have this pump put in. So do recommend approval. Holloway's already assisted us with the purchase of the pump. And this is just more improvements to our water plant. And by the way, this high service pump is what we have to kick into operation when we get these 100-degree heat days like this, when our daily production goes way up. So do recommend approval, and I'll answer any questions.
Move for approval.
Second.
And this was approved at the purchasing committee, by the way.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Pearlie Boyati Craig?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Tracy McGee?
Yes.
Alex Reynolds?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman?
Yes.
Item number 7 passes. Item number 8, please.
Consider approval to purchase one new Ford F-250 truck for use in the Facilities Maintenance Division from Dunn Ford Company, located in Stigler, Oklahoma, and an amount totaling $55,515, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Swepton?
I'll be handling this for Ms. Sweezy.
All right.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. If you recall back a few weeks ago, we talked about the trouble we've been having the last few years acquiring new vehicles, and how our standard process then was to purchase vehicles off state contract. This would have been a very similar procedure here. We would have purchased a cabin chassis, which is a vehicle without a bed. Then we would have sent it out to have either a flatbed or a utility bed, in this case, put on it. Since we cannot get those cabin chassis, they're just so far behind that they're just not keeping up with production. We've had to start thinking outside the box and doing things differently, exploring other avenues. We had found this vehicle down in Stigler at Dunn Country Ford. It's already equipped with a utility bed on it. It is a new truck with only 8 miles, just a holdover that hasn't been sold. So we did some comparables to see what other options we had. If we purchased a pickup and took the bed off, which is things that we've done in the past, it would have cost us several $1,000s more to go that route than to go with one that's already outfitted. We did check with the local dealers. They did not have anything available as far as cabin chassis. Another comparable, we found this exact truck, a 2022 model with this pretty much exact same bed in the Dallas area. It was about $4,500 more for a used truck with about 8,400 miles on it. So we're very, very confident that we've done our homework, made sure that we're getting a good deal, and we're pleased to bring this to you. We ask for approval for this vehicle from Dunn Country Ford.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Swepton?
I move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Pearlie Boyati Craig?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Tracy McGee?
Yes.
Alex Reynolds?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman?
Yes.
Item number 8 passes. Item number 9, please.
Consider approval to authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute a lease purchase agreement with the Muskogee Medical Center Authority not to exceed the amount of $825,000 to purchase and equip new police patrol vehicles or take other necessary action.
Mr. Miller?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, we do have before you an agreement for lease purchase with the Muskogee Medical Center Authority. That is one of the city-owned trusts, and they've been our partner in the past decade or more. When we buy police vehicles, we do a lease purchase program through them. They offer us relatively favorable terms as they invest their money. They've offered to basically renew a current loan for the same dollar amount that the loan is expiring this month, and so we look to renew that. They've agreed to renew it on the same terms as we had 5 years ago, which is very favorable to the city, of the interest rate of about 2.75% as our partner, as our trust. And so I want to thank Deputy Mayor, who sits on that board, as well as the members of the Medical Center Authority for extending us that courtesy. This will allow us to outfit our police vehicles and start replacing some 2008 Dodge Chargers with new vehicles. And so Mr. Teehey's here to answer any questions if you have them, and specific to about the vehicles. This is really about the financing and being able to start the process. So we do recommend approval of this lease purchase agreement, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Deputy Mayor may be recognized.
Yes.
Mike Miller, can you share with us again how this will be paid back, the dedicated funds that's set aside for that?
Yes, thank you, Councilor McGee. We did discuss this in purchasing committee, and it was approved there, and this was a question that was asked there. Thank you for bringing it forward here. We do have dedicated funding sources that pay for these police vehicles, so these don't come out of the general fund. This is a dedicated funding source. It can only be used for police equipment, and that's why that dollar amount is staying roughly the same as it was 5 years ago, because it is the same funding source.
Which is, can you tell us the funding
Yes, we have
source?
two. We have two that we'll be using. We're going to buy more vehicles than this 825, by the way. We're going to use all those funding sources that we have available. We have a dedicated sales tax that was passed by the citizens that's for police equipment and capital outlay. And there's also a separate equipment fund that is every time someone pays a fine in municipal court, if it's related to certain violations, traffic violations for the most part, some of that money goes into an equipment fund for the police as well. So those are the funds that we use to set aside to buy equipment. So not just the vehicles, but then the equipment that goes on the vehicles, including the light bars and the computers and all those things that transform it into a public safety vehicle. Those are the two dedicated funding sources.
Thank you, Mayor. Mike.
Any other questions?
Yeah, at some point, I have one more question. Can you come back to the body and let us know how many cars that we actually got out of that?
Absolutely, we'll be happy to do that.
Thank you.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Roll call, please.
Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Pearline Boyati Craig.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 9 passes. Item number 10, please.
Consider approval to award City of Muskogee property located at 119 Spalding and adjacent lots to Divine Love Outreach Ministry, or take other necessary action.
All right, so they got the whole gang down here, myself, Councilor McGee, Councilor Hilton Flannery, as well as Councilor Boyati Craig. So I'll yield the floor to anyone, or I'll take it. Okay.
Well, I'll say something.
All right.
May I? I am excited that we have awarded this property to Pastor Michael Weber. I've known him for approximately 30 years. He has a vision for youth. It's not just a vision that he has that wants to get recognition. It's a vision and a passion that he has had for youth for as long as I can remember. So I think it's a great thing. He will have a mentorship program. He will have all sorts of other educational programs for the kids. And so I think it's a good thing that he has gotten this award.
Thank you. So just for some background for the council and the community, 119 Spalding is the old senior center over on the south side of the city. We moved them to the fire station, so that building has been vacant. A former church has been vacant for years. So we went through the RFP process. This body appointed those counselors to review the RFP processes, and so Divine Love was the applicant that wanted to make use of this abandoned building. Anybody that passes by there now will see the building is abandoned. It's been a lot of trash around the building, so it's good to see someone want to take interest in taking this off the hands of the city and doing great works. With that being said, I will yield the floor to Bishop Weber or any of his appointees if you guys would like to make a comment.
Don't give a comment to the preacher.
5 minutes.
Ask the mayor.
5 minutes, name and address,
5
please.
minutes, okay. I'm Pastor Michael Weber, Divine Love Christian Fellowship. We've been in this city I was raised in this city. My father pastored a church in this city, so I'm well acquainted with not only the children of the city, but the parents also. So I understand the need that needs to take place. That's just something that's just like something that we're just not starting to do, that we have been doing, that keeping an eye on our youth and trying to steer them in the right way. It wasn't long ago that we just had, the mayor was out with us and Miss Tracy McGee was out with us. We paid and rented out the swimming area out there, and we had over 700 kids that came out there and they swam free. And we fed them, so we just want to keep them with a passion that you can do better. For those that's lower poverty, let them know anger management, staying out of trouble, the dropout rate that we have here in Muskogee, that sometimes they just need a guidance, and we want to be that guidance. Y'all have y'all's way of doing guidance, we have our way of doing guidance, but at the end of the day, it's the Lord to give us the strength. Or Yahweh, whichever one to give us the strength, that give us the wisdom and knowledge to lead our people. So without a vision, the people would perish, and we certainly don't want Muskogee to perish.
Right. Amen.
Thank you, sir.
And Pastor, I'm sorry, could you please state your address for the record?
500 North F Street.
Thank you.
Okay. Want me to get a zip code too?
No, sir.
What is the pleasure of this body?
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Carlin Boyati Craig.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 10 passes, and with that item passing, that is our final item for the Finance Committee.
Welcome to tonight's Public Works Committee meeting for August 14th, 2023. Item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Public Works Committee minutes of July 10th, 2023, or take other necessary action.
You all had a chance to review the minutes. Any corrections, or I'd entertain a motion?
Move for approval.
A second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Carlin Boyati Craig.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item passes. Item number 2, please.
Hold a public hearing and consider approval of ordinance number 4203A on the application of Dyke Properties to rezone a parcel of land from C1 Local Commercial to C2 General Commercial, as well as a second parcel of land from I1 Light Industrial to C2 General Commercial, and if approved, authorize staff to revise the official zoning map of the city to reflect said change or take other necessary action.
This time I'd like to open the public hearing. Mr. King?
Good evening, Chairman, Committee. So Dyke Properties would like to rezone a parcel of land from C1 Local Commercial and I1 Light Industrial to C2 General Commercial. As you can see on the image, there's a red square that encompasses both the C1 and the I1. They also applied for a lot consolidation and lot split process from the Planning Commission, which was approved, which will consolidate the two parcels zoned into one. And so in order for them to operate their business, which is going to be Dollar General, they're asking to rezone it to a C2 General Commercial to match the rest of the layout. That is up on the north side towards Independence Avenue, where we have canvases. Staff recommends approval and take any questions.
Thank you. We have no citizens signed up to speak tonight on this item, so I'm going to close the public hearing. Entertain a motion or any discussion?
Just would like to say we're very glad to see this project coming. This is one of those projects that I have been petitioning for almost 3 or 4 years now to bring some development to the South Main Street area. That's a very busy highway. And so we welcome this project coming to the good old Ward 3, and most importantly to an area town where we don't have stores, we don't have goods and services, and so this is going to meet a lot of needs. And so I'm excited to make the motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Perlin Boyotti Craig.
Yes.
Charlie Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yep.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 2 passes. Item number 3, please.
Hold a public hearing and consider approval of ordinance number 4204A to close the alley located behind Hous Pediatrics, brought forth by Dr. Tracy Hous for the property located at 904 West Okmulgee Avenue, or take other necessary action.
At this time, I'm going to open the public hearing. Mr. King?
So this is a application by Hous Pediatrics to close the alley located behind it at 904 West Okmulgee Avenue. They are planning to relocate their entrance, and they would like to put it on that north side of the building. And so by closing the alley, it allows for expansion of Hous Pediatrics and a new entrance. And staff recommends approval.
No citizens are signed up to speak, so I'm going to close this public hearing.
I move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Perlin Boyotti Craig.
Yes.
Charlie Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Abstain.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 3 passes. Item number 4, please.
Consider approval of the preliminary and final replat for R&L Carriers consisting of one lot on 15.91 acres located near 2831 South 24th Street West, or take other necessary action.
Mr. King?
R&L Carriers is a trucking company in the south side of town. They are currently operating on a smaller lot with a smaller building for their trucks and their office space. They are utilizing a parcel of land to the east of their property that they already own to expand their trucking company to allow for more trucks to dock, including a larger office space. And to meet the needs of the drainage, they will also be building a retention pond on the north side of the parcel of land. This will also consolidate many individual lots into one larger lot for them to have better access and better understanding of their property. Staff recommends approval, and we'll take any questions.
Is there any further discussion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Perlin Boyotti Craig.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 4 passes. Item number 5, please.
Consider approval to purchase a plant and sewer lift pump from United Rentals through Sourcewell Purchase in the amount of $65,926.07, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes, Mr. Chairman and committee, this is for a 6-inch pump that's portable. We do take this pump out and use it in various situations with the wastewater plant, the lift stations, and also in our water repairs when we do major water line repairs. This pump is $65,926.07, and we are purchasing it from United Rentals, which is out of Tulsa. We are also going to purchase this through the Sourcewell Purchase Agreement, which is a cooperative purchasing agreement, which is part of our purchasing policy, which authorizes us to make purchases that way. We did budget $80,000. This item is going to be $14,000 under what we budgeted. We budgeted this through our MMA account, and we do recommend approval.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Does anyone have any questions or any further discussion?
And Mr. Chairman, this was approved at purchasing as well.
Thank you.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Perlin Boyotti Craig.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 5 passes. Item number 6, please.
Consider approval to purchase a trickling filter recirculation pump from Haynes Equipment Company, sole source, for use at the sewer plant in the amount of $71,361, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Stewart?
Actually, Mr. Rigney's going to take this one.
Mr. Reagan?
So this is a trickling filter for the wastewater treatment plant, which the trickling filters are an extremely large pump that circulates the water through the trickling filter back to the primaries and through the plant. It's a series of 4 pumps, 2 small ones and 2 large ones. This is to provide redundancy for the large pumps that we have out there. This is a budgeted item in MMA. And this, as I said, is for redundancy. It's a 32-week lead time to get a pump repaired. So rather than be down for 32 weeks, we want to have one on hand so we can get right back up and running. This is a sole source purchase through Haynes in Oklahoma City, and it's a sole source because it is a Grundfos pump, which is our plant is designed for that particular style of pump, and the plumbing and the way it lines up. We do require to have that Grundfos pump, and staff does recommend approval. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Move for approval.
Second it.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Carleen Boyati Craig?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Tracy McGee?
Yes.
Alex Reynolds?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman?
Yes.
Item number 6 passes. Item number 7, please.
Consider approval to receive an equipment grant in the amount of $39,072 from the Oklahoma Department of Environmental Quality for reimbursement of the purchase of balers to manage plastic recycling at the Recycle Center, and further authorizing the city manager to expend funds from the matching grant fund in the amount of $9,138 to pay the matching portion of this grant or take other necessary action.
Mr. Stewart.
Yes, as this reads, Mr. Chairman and committee, this is to approve Public Works to receive an equipment grant in the amount of $39,072, and also to use the matching grant for that other $9,138. We think we're going to be able, and by the way, we can get one baler or 2 with this purchase, with this agreement, and we think we're going to be able to get 2 of them. We did budget for this year, so what we budgeted in our 212 or our solid waste account will be able to be put somewhere else into that recycling center. So I'm very pleased that Abby Wright, who manages this department, applied for this grant and was awarded it. It is an 80-20 grant. Of course, that's why the money is the way it is. But we're proud to have it. This helps with the recycling center, with the Encore people down there that do the baling of the plastic. So we do recommend approval, and we're very proud of staff for going after this grant.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
Move for approval.
Second it.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Carleen Boyati Craig?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Tracy McGee?
Yes.
Alex Reynolds?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman?
Yes.
Item number 7 passes. Item number 8, please.
Consider approval of change order number 1 to the Northwest Mill and Overlay Project in the amount of $120,991.20 to APAC Central, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Stewart.
Mr. Rigney has taken the lead on the mill and overlay project, and he's actually prepared this change order.
Mr. Rigney.
Yes, and before I get started on this change order, I'd just like to thank our street committee, Marsha Wiseman, who's in the audience tonight, as well as the council for allowing us to do all of the street work that's taking place across town. It's making a big difference out there, and we really appreciate the council's effort to help us get that going. On this change order, we're looking to add streets to the Northwest Zone Mill and Overlay. A couple of these streets were on the micro seal, but after conferring with our micro seal contractor, we believe they could best be suited being on the Mill and Overlay. And a couple of these streets are ones that we think we might have missed in the process, and we don't want to miss any streets that need this, so we want to add them to it. This change order is for $120,991.20, and the original contract amount for the Northwest Mill and Overlay was $2,705,615.96. This change order was approved by the street committee last week, and staff does recommend approval.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Yes, I just want to say that you guys are doing a good job. I think it's good to see more streets are being considered for attention. So thank you guys for what you do.
Thank you.
Move for approval.
A second it.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Patrick Kell?
Yes.
Carleen Boyati Craig?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Tracy McGee?
Yes.
Alex Reynolds?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman?
Yes.
Item number 8 passes. Next item, please.
Consider approval to replace traffic signals located at 4th Street and West Ocmulgee Avenue with a stop sign creating a one-way northbound stop, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Stewart?
So, Mr. Chairman and committee, that traffic signal was knocked down several weeks ago, and we've had stop signs up controlling it now for several weeks, and it's working pretty well. While we were doing that, we also reached out to TEC, which is Traffic Engineering Consultants, to do a warrant study on that intersection to see if that traffic light was warranted for that intersection. And of course, it met none of the warrants. So the Traffic Engineering Consultants did recommend removal. And what we intend to do, if approved, is to remove the stop signs that are on Ocmulgee, so Ocmulgee would free flow. Now, there is a stop at 3rd and Ocmulgee, so 1 block later they would have to stop. But Ocmulgee would free flow. We'd remove the stop bars. We would put a flashing stop sign up at 4th Street in Ocmulgee, so it would stop 4th Street at Ocmulgee for the northbound traffic. And for a reminder, that's a one-way street. That's why only 1 stop sign is required on the south side for the northbound flow. And again, we would remove the stop bars, and we would put signs up that state that cross-street traffic does not stop. We did reach out to the Civic Center management and discuss with them what the intent was, and they did say that they were fine with that. If there's a special event or something needed, we could do some type of traffic control down there manually or some other type with barricades or with detours, whatever we needed to if there was a big event at the Civic Center. I do recommend removal. One of the things that Avery brought up, he presented this in the street committee, and one of the things he brought up was this is a very antiquated stoplight anyway, and it's getting to the point where we cannot come up with repair parts for it, so there's another reason to remove it. And if we did have to replace it, we'd have to put the mast arm type signals up, which would be rather expensive. So with the TEC approval or recommendation, and by the way, we also did talk to our friends at ODOT, and they're in favor of this as well. We do recommend removal of the stoplight at Ocmulgee and 4th Street and replacing it with a one-way stop for the northbound flow at 4th and Ocmulgee. Answer any questions?
So you're saying that when Ocmulgee's going to be straight through, so you...
Yes. And again, there's a stop light just 1 block down the street from there, so they'd have to stop down there. And if you look, it's in your packet, if you look at the traffic count, there is very little traffic on 4th Street and very few turning movements. And I don't remember the exact numbers, I could look them up, but there's like 300 cars going each direction a day and 20 to 25 that are going down 4th Street, and very few turning movements.
So only in the morning, I guess, is where the traffic is. After that, certain time is nothing.
Yes, and Councilor McGee, if you look, one of the warrants that it did not meet was the, they call it an 8-hour traffic flow.
Okay.
And that covers that part of it, so it does not meet that requirement either. And in your packet is all that information, and I'd be glad to sit and explain it with you one-on-one if you'd like sometime.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion?
Move for approval.
Second it.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Perlin Boyati Craig.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 9 passes. Item 10, please.
Consider approval to purchase water meters from Utility Technology Services, UTS, for Phase 2 of the Automated Meter Reading System Replacement Project, not to exceed an amount of $1.4 million or take other necessary action.
Mr. Miller?
Yes. This is a project that we started a few years ago to replace all of our meters. Our water meters are past their 10-year warranty life and are starting to wear out. We've replaced more than half of them already, and the council set aside money through the American Rescue Plan to fund $1.4 million for the second phase of that. Ms. Tracy and her group are leading that project, and I'll let her give you the details on where we're at today and then what this phase is going to do.
So we are planning to replace approximately 3,100 meters. That will leave us approximately 15% still in the ground that we will need to replace in the future. The estimated cost for the meter, the MXU, and the installation per meter is approximately $461. The lead time to get our meters and MXUs will be about 6 to 8 months, so it will be a while before we see the project start. And then once the project begins, it'll take about 2 months to get them in the ground. The bid of $1.4 million will include the installation, the disposal of the old meters. Everything is included in that package. So it was approved at the purchasing committee. I'll be happy to answer any questions, and I recommend approval.
Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I would just add to Ms. Tracy's comments that this is an ARPA-funded project, so that those who are listening will be clear that these are grant funds per se that is paying for this project. And so thank you, staff, for making certain that we, and council, that those funds were allocated for this project.
Entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Second it.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Carolyn Boyati Craig.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 10 passes. Item number 11, I wasn't told, are we going to pull this item?
No.
Not? Okay.
I was asked by Councilor Stout, if I may.
Item number 11, please.
Consider approval of an honorary street name for Evelyn Hibbs, designating the location on Broadway Street between 3rd and 4th Streets as Evelyn Hibbs Boulevard, or take other necessary action.
Mayor Coleman?
So Ms. Stout would have been here tonight, but she's unable to be with us, and she contacted me and asked if I would present this item. For those who are here and watching, may or may not know, Evelyn Hibbs has run the WISH organization for us in the city of Muskogee for quite some time. They were gifted a property on Broadway to further their opportunity for women in safe homes. And so Ms. Stout thought it would be appropriate, considering the longevity that Ms. Hibbs has invested into that program, and with their expansion in that location, that we would designate that one block area on Broadway as Evelyn Hibbs Boulevard. Those of us who know Evelyn knows that she sacrifices much to do what she does. She would have never in her lifetime even asked for this to be done. It's probably quite bashful that we're even having this conversation on tonight. Nevertheless, I do believe that Ms. Hibbs is worthy. We thank Ms. Stout for this recommendation, and on her behalf, I would like to move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Carolyn Boyati Craig.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 11 passes. Item number 12, please.
Discuss City of Muskogee Code of Ordinances, Section 2-29, D1 and 2, which requires members of the public to state their name and address for the record when addressing a public body and provide direction to staff.
Councilor Boyati Craig?
Yes. We had an individual at our last council meeting that was asked to state her name and address, and she vehemently opposed stating her address. And so thanks to Katrina, she did some research and we have made some discoveries. Although the city of Muskogee does have an ordinance in place, the state does not require that a person has to do this. What we have initially, when a person signs up to speak, we have a form. It is a public comments form where the person puts their name, address, telephone number, the item that they wish to talk about, and any other supplemental information that they would like to have on there. It is also not a requirement, other than our ordinance, that we allow individuals to speak. But our city has graciously allowed this to happen over a period of years, and we're okay with that. The thing that I would like to have amended and corrected would be the removal of the address information, because we have to know who is actually speaking at the mic. I think the council should know that. When a person comes up, we should know the name of that person. But the address, I don't think should be given today's environment, what social media can do, and the safety and security of that individual. I would recommend that we remove the address requirement from when a person publicly gets up to speak. Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Just for clarification purposes, we do have that there's two places we ask for the address. One is on the sign-up form, and one is when they speak.
Yes.
Are you saying they should remove both? Because I've heard some citizens say it's important to know whether somebody is a resident of the city.
No, we should remove when they're publicly speaking at the mic.
But leave it on the
The
form.
document should stay the same.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to clarify.
I was gonna say, we want to make sure they're from Muskogee, not someone
Yeah.
from Tulsa coming to.
Yeah. No, we want the document to stay the same. We do not want that document amended at all.
Move for approval as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Perlin Boyotti Craig.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hoos. Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item passes. We do have one citizen wish to sign up to speak. Miss Arnitha Cheryl Atkins. Please come up to the microphone and state your name, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Arnitha Cheryl Atkins. I don't have to give my address.
Ma'am, yes, actually you do until the ordinance is
Okay.
changed. Thank you.
Okay. 624 South 3rd Street, Muskogee, Oklahoma, 74401. I'm here to complain about the Animal Control Department. I have called them numerous times concerning neighbor, I won't say my whole neighborhood. Their dogs are running loose, no shots. They have over 8 or 9 dogs. They have numerous cats, kittens. It's just a breeding ground for these animals. I will only speak for my address. They dig in my yard. They love my front porch. And this is terrible. They have trash everywhere. But my complaint is on animal control. They came out, I called them. They had 2 of these numerous dogs in their possession. The owners came out, which come out all the time, and plead with the animal control people to leave their dogs. No shots, nothing. These dogs just run, having puppies. They're everywhere. Anyway, he had at least 2 of them in his possession. He let them go. He gave them back to the owners of these dogs, tied them in the backyard in 4 foot of tall grass. Then when the animal control man left, they turned the dogs loose. They had the opportunity to at least take 2 of these animals that are running loose. And I feel as a citizen of Muskogee, my neighborhood should look better than what it's looking with all these animals. I have a dog. I love dogs. But my dog has everything necessary to live in Muskogee. And I think something needs to be done. It's the pride of Muskogee. Green Depot is beautiful, but come on down the street and you'll see something different, and something needs to be done about these homeowners. I don't know who they are. They're really, I won't say. I'm on television. So I would just like for something to be done with these people, or especially animal control. He's been there many times, and he does nothing. Nothing. He lets them go. And something needs, it's just a breeding ground for dogs. I see my time is up, so please do something. I don't like to complain, but I am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Atkins. That concludes tonight's Public Works meeting.